It happened, guys. Dragon Age the Veilguard has hit peak irrelevance. It's all in the bargain bin from here, as even trade-in values are stupid for 1 week after launch, right? Just about a week after launch. We tried. This is what happens when you have a bunch of troons make a game and you put a bunch of troon ideology. I even had a comment on one of my recent Dragon Age the Veilguard videos, which I've made a ton of them lately. I think it's so irrelevant that this is going to be the last Dragon Age the Veilguard video for a while. Who knows, unless something funny happens. But anyway, I had a comment from somebody saying they even just did some random fetch side quest, and you know, you had to do something like, oh, please bring me this amount of flowers or whatever it was. And instead of just sticking with that plot point of this side quest, just at random, the NPC is like, oh, by the way, I'm really coming into terms with my non-binary identity. It's everywhere. These made up fake genders are everywhere. So the lead director of this game is a man who's pretending to be a woman. I believe there's some other variations of fake genders within the development team and the social media team and so on and so forth, and you can tell because this game is littered with this transgender demonic fake make-believe ideology, and people are sick of it. This has given me a lot of hope that we're going to see society healing as well, which, I mean, we should be seeing a lot of that rolling out because the people are tired of it. And we even have Donald Trump now saying that he's going to make some differences, some changes about this. So I can't wait. Anyway, so this comes to us from That Park Place, where they said players are discovering Dragon Age Veilguard's trade-in value has plummeted only a week after release. Now, we were being gaslit by woke people who clearly weren't buying this game, obviously, or there's just not that many of them. We were being gaslit. They were saying, oh yeah, this game is, look at it, it's #1 right now. This game is such a success. You guys, this owned the chuds. We told you so. That definitely was not the case. We could see the writing on the wall. We could see that the numbers were not impressive for it and that this was a massive flop. So let's continue. It's no secret that Dragon Age the Veilguard has been having a rough go of it since launching on Halloween. Not only did the game fail to reach 90,000 concurrent players on Steam, which, you know, it needed to reach way bigger numbers than it did for a AAA game with the massive budget that it had, but inside sources allege that the game has barely moved 500,000 copies and has seen refunds skyrocket on digital stores. Even the Gaming Access Media, which heaps lavish praise upon the BioWare RPG, has seemingly left it behind because it sucks. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants a game that is riddled with this transgender ideology. And what did they think was going to happen when you take such a huge budget IP like this and you hand it over to people who don't even know what gender they are? Here, we're going to trust you with $300 million to make us a game, and it needs to sell well. Let's be freaking for real. I'm also told in terms of refunds that currently the game has had at least 30,000 refunds in the past few days. YouTuber Endymion said in a recent video on his channel, citing sources close to the game, which is not good for your game that has barely sold 500,000 copies to be hemorrhaging players like this. So generally speaking, Veilguard is not a commercial success. 30,000 refunds is crazy for selling a ballpark of 500,000 units. Most of those refunds likely came from digital stores like Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation. These online platforms allow players to return a game for a full refund within 2 weeks of purchase, as long as they have less than 2 hours of gameplay logged in. It's a policy that lets players try a new game with no risk. If they don't like it, they can just return it quickly, which apparently quite a few players did in this case. So, unfortunately for gamers who bought the physical copies of the title, it's a lot more difficult to return opened games for a full cash refund. Exactly. So typically these games will sell a game back to the retailer. They take a loss on the purchase, but it's not a total loss. For a new game that's barely a week old, you can typically get anywhere in the 30s or even 40s on a $60 or $70 game. However, after a little more than a week in the hands of players, GameStop has listed Dragon Age the Veilguard trade-in value at just $22. As you can see in the image above, Veilguard is listed as being worth up to $22. That means to get $22, you need an utterly pristine copy. And depending on the condition of the game and the GameStop employee appraising it, players could see even less than that. Considering that a brand new copy of Veilguard is $69, the game has seen a devaluation of 31.88% in just 12 days. When you compare the value of Veilguard to other recent games in the situation BioWare and EA find themselves becomes clear. So you got Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, a game that came out on September 26th, is worth up to $33. $33. So $11 more for a game that came out before it. Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, which hits stores exactly a month ago on October 11th, is worth up to $27.50 on PS5 and $33 on Xbox. Also came out before it. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is another recent release that came out just under a week before Veilguard on October 26th. It has a trade-in value of $38.50. Okay, so that's a real success because that's actually a really good trade-in value. Veilguard's worth of up to $22 matches Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, a game that came out a year and a half ago, May of 2023. Whew. This GameStop valuation after just over a week in stores doesn't bode well for how Veilguard is performing. If new copies of the game were flying off shelves, GameStop would pay a higher rate for previously played copies. However, the vast number of players attempt to trade a game in, the value plummets, as we're seeing here. So yeah, what that means is tons of people. We already saw all the refunds with the digital copies. I imagine the physical copies are being traded in en masse, right? I mean, dude, gamers, we have been speaking out for years now saying, hey, nobody wants this queer ideology in games. Please make it stop. We're bombarded with it in the real world. Constantly having these degenerate parades where people are doing degenerate things in front of children too with that. And we are so tired of it. This is just, and hey, some people, oh, you're a bigot, you're so hateful. It ain't about hate. At the end of the day, we're sick of it. And at the end of the day, it's perversion. Let's call it for what it is. It's not bigoted and it's not evil to say, hey, this ideology is perverted. Stop. Like, just stop. And it's a free country, so you can do whatever you're gonna do on legal grounds. But at the very least, you just do that behind closed doors and stop making it everybody else's problem. If you're a dude who wants to put on dresses, do that at home. Goodness, but this is just where we're at. Like, stop trying to infiltrate our bathroom. Stop with your make-believe games, because that's what it is. They are putting on dresses and wigs and makeup and pretending to be something they're not. And they made it everybody else's problem when they started hijacking our bathrooms. Women, who are the weaker vessel, we are just in every way, we are the weaker vessel to men. That is how God made human beings. So that just makes no sense. Okay, we're going to allow men, the stronger vessel, and men with mental issues at that. We're going to allow mentally ill men to enter your bathroom where you get naked. And when you get naked and you got children in there who are getting naked and using the restroom as well. That's just stupid. That doesn't make any sense. But the society has been an upside down land for so long now. People have been called a bigot for so long now over this stuff. They tried really hard. And thankfully, a huge chunk of society has woke up and said, you know what, this is ridiculous. Call me a bigot all you want. I don't care. I'm going to say stop this crap. So anyway, yeah, now we're seeing it in our games and stuff like crazy. You can't take something abnormal, you can't take something unnatural and try to force it. And that is the same with all of this gender ideology crap. They're putting it in Dragon Age of Veilguard, trying to, dude, if a person wanted, they could do a magic spell, or in that game, they could do a magic spell. It's a fantasy game, so a magic spell or drink a potion that would turn them the opposite gender. I mean, these people who have these mental illnesses and they think that they're the opposite gender they are or they want to be, if they had access to a potion that they could drink and it would, boom, turn them into the opposite gender, would they do it? The ones who actually genuinely have the mental condition would do that. But there's a lot who wouldn't do that, because a lot of them are narcissists who just want attention because they see that this mental condition has gotten people attention, so they wanted to jump on that. So that's where we're at, and that's why in this game they don't, dude, in fantasy games, if you want to change the gender of your character, you can do that in a lot of them. And nobody really thinks anything of it. You don't think of it as transgender. You just think, oh, I just want to play as a different gender now. I want to be a girl now, or I want to be a guy now. Especially not these made-up genders, though. That's just stupid all along. But anyway, yeah, that's just how it is. Nobody would have thought anything of it, but it was about their ideology, and it's demonic. It goes against God and God's design. It's an abomination to God, and Satan wants this everywhere. So he wants to brainwash people into all this. But nope, not today. Not happening today, at least. So anyway, anybody who does go through said mental illness or is a narcissist and wants the attention from this demonic ideology, I hope they find Jesus, and I hope that they repent and get better, and that they can love the body that God gave them. That is my hope. So anyway, there you have it for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And as always, if you want me to read the Bible to you, you can check out my Bible channel, Bible Time with Melanie Mack. Thank you all again. I'll catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.